The birds are chirping. The sun is out. Everything is smiling because we're away from the monster known as the winter season. It's the spring review. But there's actually something I want to talk about non-related anime because I didn't think we'd see it.
Okay.
So remember in February how we had the whole Rushia situation?
Mm-hmm.
She released a statement.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
And well, it's a lot more nicer than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd just like to go into it a bit since we do cover this shit.
Okay.
So TLDR, she released a statement sometime in the middle of the day Japanese time, and with her company, Cover and the lawyer checking it over, she wrote a statement, and essentially it goes in to say how she apologizes for taking too long to go in the statement about, she's been talking with Cover this entire time apparently, and one thing she goes into is the slander. So she first tackles the claim that apparently she wanted to ruin them all, which is, bullshit. Everybody believed that, and it is. Yeah. And she acknowledges that her fault in this situation, which I'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
She reiterates that she's still, she's still on good terms with the people at Cover, and especially Gen 3.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to clarify that she made false declarations to various related parties, and she wants to say that that wasn't true. Here it is. There was a blatant mistake in the official statement released by the company, and I had asked them to release an official correction. Namely, they claimed that I made false declarations to various related parties. I sent an exchange between me and my manager online to one person outside of the company. This is true. I felt I had to do so in order to stop certain conversations from taking place at the time. She states that I did not leak any other information and neither did I make any false declarations. The contents of what was said did not include any confidential details of the company, be it related to operations, sales, information of other members. The official release from the company described more than what I've done, prompting much slander. As such, I asked the company to release an official correction, but they ultimately came to the conclusion that they will not do so, but they remained extremely earnest throughout the discussion. She's thankful for this, and I was hoping that the company and I could release a joint statement, but they could not cooperate to such lengths, and I'm making this statement as alone. So essentially, it looks like the main thing she's tackling is, of course, the slander. Because you know how people just ran fucking wild with it, right?
Yeah, give me just 1 second, Emerson. I'm just gonna mute. I need to mute Discord for a moment. 1 second. Sorry, it was still apparently streaming to you other things, so I just wanted to turn that off.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Anywho, she ends it, she's still in discussion with the company, and apparently the relations have no means soured, and they're working out the remaining contractual obligations.
Mm-hmm.
So, essentially what we can learn is her words that she's still on good terms with everyone. Her and Cover still have a respectable relationship. And it's nice to see that this situation finally has some closure, right? And she ends it by talking about how she felt that the slander was really what pushed this into thing, right? Yep. Now, of course, like I said, she accepts that she is at fault for some of it, right? Like she states, I understand this is partially due to my impulsive actions. But it really does show that the internet is a terrible place.
Of course. Horrible.
I also like the little statement at the end. I will myself be walking forward while greatly treasuring the green-haired necromancer that I always loved so deeply. I mean, it's a shame that it had to end, but it looks like we are finally at a point where hopefully everybody can move on.
Hopefully.
Right?
Hopefully.
But yeah, I just thought I'd cover that just because, we've acknowledged it before, right?
We talk about VTubers a lot.
Yeah. So that was the big VTuber statement. And of course, there's some other stuff. Fubuki and Bay have announcements today. Noelle has a concert coming up, which that surprised me a bit. Because, well, it doesn't seem like Noelle's the type of person just to randomly put up a concert, right? But no, she's having a 3D live. She's going to reveal many things, and that is actually supposed to be tonight, actually. So that'll be good. And yes, Fubuki and Bay are revealing stuff. Apparently, everyone outside of Polka, since she has other commitments, is doing a get-together at a hot spring for Flair, Suisse, Noelle, and Miko.
Nice.
And of course, Holo EN is finally meeting up.
My CD drive is not in properly.
Okay.
I just realized that.
Interesting. But no, Holo EN is finally meeting up as the Myth Girls have got together.
Mm-hmm.
That's just... It's one of those things where it's just like you can cross off a list of things that you we've wanted them to be able to do, right?
For a long time.
Yeah, so apparently they met up. So right now it's Kiara, Ina, Ame, and Gura together. And it's very likely they're either going to Cali or Cali's coming to them, because Cali's going to North America because she has some stuff in North America to deal with. But yeah, no, it's been a good week. So let's talk about some great things.
Oh, shoot. Oh.
The spring season was great.
Yes.
I'm just gonna rattle off stuff. So I opened up Annie chart, I set it to popularity, and I am going to be talking about every single show that I watched. You will chime in as well.
Give me a second to grab the chart. Wait.
Now,
what? Oh, no, this is summer. Oops. Here we go.
Now, of course, I'd like to point out that some of the shows haven't ended yet, but majority of them have. So outside of
wow, some of the summer stuff actually just started, didn't they?
Yeah, some of the summer stuff has just started. The first 3 episodes of the Ruby series are out.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know. And apparently it's animated really good. I'll check that out later. But what I was about to say is, outside of summertime rendering, I consider season 2 of Shield Hero over, but they got one more episode to set up the arc for part 2 coming in the fall.
Yes.
I'm in Warrior at the Borderline has its finale next week.
Ugh.
Dawn of the Witch has its finale next week.
No.
Data Live has ended today.
Okay.
Shikamori. There was an interesting thing about Shikamori is that apparently the studio got hit with COVID. Yeah. So that caused a lot of there were 2 recap episodes, right? And that is why. So Shikamori has actually quite a bit left, sadly. So it's only on episode 10, so it's got 11, 12 left after that. Aowashi's going 25 episodes.
Yeah, so that's gonna be another core.
And then Spy X Family, its first core ends tomorrow. So for the most part, the spring season is over.
Yes.
So let's get to it. We're
And
going to
Kingdom
talk
has
about
another core, actually. Yeah.
we're going to talk about everything, starting, of course, with Spy X Family.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the stuff that's okay. Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Unless Spy X Family nuclear bombs, it's my show of the season.
I mean, okay, you just gotta talk about it. Doesn't matter, boys.
I told you I was going from on Annie list, going from popularity, and number one is Spy X Family.
I was just saying it's not even over yet, though. But okay.
I'm going to be honest. It'll take a lot to like. It's the best show of the spring. I was so hyped for this show, right? So unbelievably hyped, and
good reason.
It just works, right? It's one of those things where it combines the ability to have this comedic nature to it while also being really serious at times. The one thing I want to point out is Lloyd's whole feelings towards like doing the job, but understanding that, well, Anya is a kid, right? Is interesting to me.
Okay.
Like it's one of those things where like I have my duty, but I also need to realize that if I raise this kid wrong, well then that's just wrong, right?
Okay.
Like that's kind of my point.
Okay.
So I like watching Lloyd balance that. We don't get much with Yor. So Yor, like I like Yor, but I feel like most of Yor stuff comes in part 2.
Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah.
But there is a lot of good there. She's just really good comic relief. Of course, Anya, you can make the whole show around Anya's reactions, and it's just great. But the one thing I will say is that the amount of references the show has, right? Like, remember the Dragon Ball references in the dodgeball? Like that, you can tell that Cloverworks and Witch Studio has a passion behind it, right?
Yeah. They have a lot of
and presentation wise, it's utterly incredible. So yeah,
very well delivered.
That's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I give it up there too.
Yeah, and then of course we had the polarizing second season of Shield Hero. It's not as good as season 1, in large part due to the fact that the Spirit Turtle arc is a bit of a train wreck. But I'm always going to leave it under impression. I think the studio knew that.
Again, that's why they rushed it.
And I will say, the second part of season 2 was actually really good. I like the introduction of Kyo. I like how well they went into depth with the... waves. And it's just... I don't know. If you can build off that, I think part 2 or season 3 or whatever the fuck they want to call it.
I don't know. Are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like an art after? I'm not sure what you're talking about now.
Well, the next thing, the thing that's coming in the fall.
Oh. That's oh frick. That is.
They call it season 3, but I consider it part 2 of season 2.
Yeah, I think they are calling it season 3.
Yeah. But no, what I was about to say is that I think if they could build off the end of season 2, I think that next part is in a good place.
Okay.
but as of right now, it's 7.5. And I thought season 1 was really good.
Yusha?
Yeah. And then Kaguya-sama just finished today, and apparently something else has been announced. So, yeah.
Related to Kaguya-sama or just
a new anime for Kaguya-sama has been announced.
Okay.
But season 3 is a 10 out of 10.
Oh, okay. You put it that high as well. Oh, okay.
What I like the most about it is how well they handled the confession. It felt natural, like everything was pushing towards it, and the reaction to the characters was great. Yeah. I also liked Ishigami and his whole coming to terms with his feelings to people.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Not gonna lie, like, you just keep saying coming just made me really uncomfortable.
Shut up. And it's just, you should, I don't like saying he's becoming normal.
I kind of get what you're getting there. Yeah, it's more.
But essentially, he's becoming more social. That's probably the best way to put it.
Social?
Social, yeah. Because, I mean, he confessed to the student, like one of the student leaders, right, in Tsubame.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to see him lose. He doesn't lose his quirkiness, but he's more willing to put himself in situations, right?
I see. I honestly thought we were talking about Tateno Yusha still. I realized we're talking about Kaguya-sama.
I literally said Kaguya-sama. You are so
dumb.
I
just realized it. I was
you are so dumb sometimes. But I mean, the main part of season 3 is the confession. And it built up perfectly, and I like it a lot. I also like how there's a hint of jealousy from Hayasaka.
Of the romance, the budding romance.
Well, is she you could tell there was a little bit of jealousy that, well, Miyuki and them actually confessed to each other.
Bittersweet.
So I like it quite a bit, and I thought if this was going to be the end of the anime, it was a perfect way to end, but apparently there's more coming.
Okay.
All right. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about Shikimori-san since, it's ran into the issues I mentioned, right?
Of, which one?
Ovid, and how it was forced to delay, and it's only on episode 10, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
What I will say is that Shikimori-san is a show that it's boring. Like, the whole point of Shikimori-san is the idea that Shikimori is everything that you wouldn't expect. She's this athletic going that and whatnot. And it's so boring.
She's a lot more Gap Moe than people thought.
Like the best part of the show is Kamiya and watching her accept that she can't get Izumi's love. But for the show that's built around the idea that, like, again, the title, Shikimori is not just cute.
Not just a cute.
It is boring.
Yeah.
So if you had to give me what I think it'll end after the 2 episodes, 7, maybe 6.5.
I think you're being too nice.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your opinion then?
Probably 5.5 or 6.
Really? Why is that?
I mean, I don't know. It didn't even hit off very well, honestly. I kind of dropped it after, like, what? 3 episodes, 4 episodes.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah. The only thing that I can really say that was good that came out of it was the memes. That's about it.
That's fair.
Who's that beautiful girl? Dude, calm down. It's your girlfriend.
Read my review of season 1. It's exactly the same. It's just as great. It's about a 9.
That's well done, isn't it?
It's just the one thing I run into with these types of shows. The one thing I run into with these type of shows is that it's hard for me to talk about them when I could literally say everything I said in season 1 and then be mostly right.
Yeah. Because I haven't got to the big parts yet. I need the big parts.
So let's talk about Arhen's son.
I did not watch this.
You didn't finish it either?
I didn't. What? I didn't watch this at all.
Oh. Well, I did, and it's... I don't know. Here's the thing. It's your basic romance that's done well. Raido and Arhen end up together at the end. It's cute. I think the only reason I enjoyed this is because Shikimori didn't hit off as well as it did.
Yeah.
Seriously. I think the only reason I enjoyed Arhen's son like I did is because Shikimori failed to get the attention that I thought it could get, right? That type of thing. Like you can see my thought process there.
I can, yeah. I can.
So I gave it about a 7.5. Summertime rendering is still going, but if you had to ask me
so far,
10 out of 10.
Oh.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's right there with Kaguya-sama. I think it's right there with Spy X Family. It's just such a compelling story. I love how well they've established the weaknesses of the main character. I like how the shadows themselves are learning after everything, right? Like throughout the first couple episodes, it's established that the main character has the ability to travel through time, right? And that's how he's gonna defeat them. It's then established that the shadows know that.
Like they figure it out, or the fact
they
that
generally know he can travel through time. And like it's one of those weird things where it's in that ReZero thing. Except with ReZero was more, you knew a ticking time bomb was coming, right? The rabbits attacking. And I'm using season 2 as an example, right? So you know how in season 2, it was all about trying to figure out what happened before the rabbits attacked, right? Here, you have that same feeling, but because you know, hey, the shadows know, at any moment, that could be it. And I just like this whole... I like the whole dichotomy of the show, where not every shadow is the same, because you'll learn stuff. Ushio, the shadow Ushio, is all of a sudden nice. And it opens more personalities to the shadows rather than just are here to consume type thing.
Yeah, we're the bad guys.
So it's really good. I think it's well worth everybody's time. It's just a shame that the only way to watch this right now is through illegal means.
Yeah, it's
on Disney.
It's on Disney. It's on Disney?
Yeah. It's a Disney Plus exclusive.
This is a Disney Plus exclusive.
So like, you also want to know what else is a Disney Plus exclusive? The next show, and also on High Dive though.
Is that Tomodachi?
So it's not a Disney Plus exclusive, but it is on Disney. You know what it is?
Haripikome?
Yep.
Oh, it's on Disney, man. Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's also on High Dive. And 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
It's a strong show that while it doesn't have as many characters to attach yourself, I didn't attach myself to the rapper as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, I thought the rapper would have more of an impact at the end, honestly, but it was just that
the relationship between Zhuge and Aiko is good. I love how like there's a theory that Aiko is supposed to be his wife in like the normal age.
Oh, okay.
And it's good. But it's kind of one of those things that burns brightly and then just kind of goes straight. You know how, like, if we talk about like a line, it shoots straight up right at the start, right? But then it just kind of plateaus and stays good.
Yeah, I could see.
I will say though, Zhuge carries the entire show.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was more. Like,
I don't think that's a bad thing, since it's the type of premise where you'd expect him to.
Because yeah, he is the main like niche of the show itself there.
But it's kind of shocking just how much he carries the show.
Very hard.
So yeah, I gave it an 8. It was very good, and I do enjoy it. And yeah. A show I haven't watched, but I do plan to watch when it ends. I don't know if you're watching it. It is A Couple of Cuckoos.
Oh. I think I watched the first episode. I plan to go back to it.
It's one of the ones I do plan to watch after. Can I rage?
What? About Couple of Cuckoos?
No. I'm moving on to the next one, since we really can't say much about it if you've only watched one episode.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
I Want to Quit Heroin is one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my fucking life in terms of frustration.
I see.
Well, I've talked about before. The show starts out really good. Essentially, after defeating the Demon Queen. Humanity turns on our hero because they are scared of his power, right? And like, I think you'd agree that's a good premise.
It would make sense used a lot, but yeah, sure, yeah.
But it would make sense that he would turn to the Demon Queen's army after that, right? Like, humanity has abandoned him. Of course he'd be a little bitter, right?
Honestly, Marcella's premise is used for a bit.
Hey, I like it. I think it's good.
Well, it's not. It's either like one of many things here. A, the hero gets majorly betrayed and just gets stabbed in the back or poisoned or whatever by his companions, or one of them is like his lover or something like that, and they're tricking them and type
like we're talking about the same premise.
Or they do turn their blades to him, and then he kind of instead runs off and he somehow survives and ends up being either part of the supposed evil forces or becomes the new Demon King or something like that. Or
the same premise.
It's like quite similar.
It's not really, because again, it's turning the people evil, but the people aren't evil. They're idiots. They're scared.
Well, there's also the people that were just scared of him in general. There's a lot that go with that, though. There's a lot that like runs around that sort of premise where they just become afraid of him, and it leads to some form of betrayal or like a turnaround or something, or whatever, personal grudges, personal whatever. Yeah, it's yeah.
Either way, I will say I did enjoy the setup. It makes sense. Like, when I'm looking for a setup, I want to see reasoning. I want to see things connect that make sense, right? So it worked, and I was intrigued. And then they just started adding shit. So a couple episodes later, all of a sudden he's actually been fighting demons for thousands upon thousands of years, right?
Yes.
Right. So essentially, I'm going to read my review, right? Bam, there's a plot. And honestly, that's great. It's a simple story that has both logic and reason. And we get to see some interesting moments of the person who just defeated them now helping them. Oh. Except the show goes like, bam, wait, there's more. Not only was the human race shunned him, in reality, he just wants to quit. Because, oh wait, there's more. He's a 3,000-year-old immortal who's been doing nothing but fighting demons their whole life, right?
Hmm.
But wait, there's more. In reality, while that all is true, he just wants the demons to kill him because in reality, he's worried that he may cause something to happen just so he can protect the human race because that's how he was programmed, because in reality, he's an artificial human. And it's only stopped because he thought hard enough. Like the instinct that's driving him to protect humans that he was worried may cause him to cause a disaster for the humans, right?
Okay.
Is only stopped because he thought hard enough. Think about that for a moment. That is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And it's a case in point of what I like to call too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because, again, in my opinion, that first part is not bad. I like it. It's simple. It's connects. But then they just throw 50 million things on it. It's just like, you just feel overwhelmed by the end of it.
And the fact that it just doesn't make sense.
Add on. Well, what doesn't make sense?
I mean, some of the just keeps on adding and adding and adding.
Like, it's just like but he's actually 3,000 years old and has been fighting demons his whole life.
Oh, but he's actually the main female.
He's 3,000 years old, but he also has this program in him that he thinks will eventually cause him to do something bad just so he could save humans. And add on that the presentation is mediocre at best. Like, some of these character designs just look hideous.
He's the reincarnation of the god of creation itself.
So anyway, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Up next on the list.
I read the manga. It was shit.
I don't know if you watched The Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn as a Typical Nobody.
The Greatest Demon Lord is
Reborn as a Typical Nobody. You didn't watch it. Okay, Data
no.
Life 4. I am absolutely flabbergasted that Data Life has become a well-written drama. Like, seriously. Data Life 1 and 2, it had its moments, but, you know, let's be real. It was more about the titties than anything.
It was just
Data
harem life.
Data Life 3 still has those moments, but introduces a compelling and well-written story, even though the presentation was ugly. Data Life 4, the best story of the series, gets the presentation right, and now we got a sequel. Yeah, Data Life 5 has been confirmed.
More titties, but more story, but more titties.
Look, we joke about that, but I'm just honestly impressed that Data Life has
more than 3 seasons.
Well,
more than 2 seasons.
More than 2 seasons, one, yes, but I'm also just impressed that the quality of the writing has improved,
which has resulted in the more than.
Like, it's surprising to me because this felt like just a fan servicey show, but in reality, it has become more than that. It's actually really well written at times. So yeah, no, I thought it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Up next on, so if you're, I guess I should say my grade is probably going to be a 9.
For what?
Data Life 4.
Okay, I thought you said it's for a different show.
Now, I am certain you have watched this. It's the Trapped in a Dating Sim.
Yes. Hi.
Did you finish the, like, do you want to talk about it?
I didn't finish the anime. I did watch a lot though.
All right, do you want to talk about it? Because I don't think I've heard a person say a good thing about it.
I don't know where this ended. Give me 1 second to check where it ended, because I did read all of the manga too. So if they did follow basically the manga and they didn't do anything else too crazy, like, and everything else was pretty much the same. Give me 1 second here. Let me just check where they ended. What was the finale? What was the finale? I don't.
Like, it's apparently over. And it's just, I don't know, man. Okay, while you look for that, I'm going to talk about Skeleton Knight.
Oh, this is the finale. Oh. Okay.
So I'm going to talk about Skeleton Knight now.
Go ahead.
If you asked me what were the shows I waited for most weeks, Skeleton Knight is probably right up there. I liked it quite a bit. I thought while the writing wasn't great, at times it was simple, it was effective. And it's one of those things, again, the main character carries the show. I think Ark is one of the most enjoyable main protagonists we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those cases where the show understands itself.
Okay.
And they just went wild with it. Like, Ark, if I had to put it, Ark is the type of person who is just super hyper, super wanting to have fun, and the show knows it. I love it how at the end where Ariane and the ninja call him out for saying, you want a simple life, and yet you do shit like German suplexing a Hydra.
And massive magic attacks and cutting things up in half with your sword and entire force.
Yeah, no, so like, it's self-aware. It's a case where I respect the show for understanding itself, right? So I gave it an 8.5. I think it's one of the better shows of spring. We don't talk about Otome game in this place because we don't talk about just shit.
Wait, you don't want to talk about the Otome game Sekai one?
No. You could talk about Love After World Domination.
Wait, I just reviewed it. Which one? Which episode they've ended on?
Okay. Well, if you want to talk about Otome, got it. But you're also the one who watched Love After World Domination.
Yeah, I can talk about that too.
Yeah.
But oh god. Okay, so I don't know. I feel like the pacing. The last episode, the finale, was apparently the end of one of the supposed main points of the story, where the MC and the party gets like, and a whole bunch of other students from their school or whatever get like attacked by another nation or something like that, and they were like using monsters and stuff. So I feel like, hey, you know, as soon as that's over, you know, that's it. That's the end of season 1. You know, that would have been a fitting ending for a fairly very under mediocre-ish anime. But they wrapped it up really, really quick, actually. So it was pretty much done by the first like third of the final episode. So they had all this time to just talk and do stuff that wasn't like engaging or relevant, almost feeling at all. Like I feel like they just threw in a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't necessary, like at all, for the final episode. I feel like they should have paced the last part really, really well, and maybe they would have been able to just not have all this in between moments that didn't feel right at all. So I don't know. Yeah. Get a scene where 2 girls are in their underwear sleeping in the MC's bed, though.
Moving on.
White and red, by the way. Yeah. No, love after world domination. Screw you.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I love after world domination.
Cute as fuck. I'm
But
very.
Is it more than cute? Like, is there actual substance to it, or is somebody just watching it as I just want to watch something cute and turn off my brain?
I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of substance enough in it. Like it, even though these characters, they're like what, like 19, 18, young, very young area, like high schooler kind of age, right? University, high schooler sort of area. Majority of them. I feel like there's some form of substance still with what they, show how young love can be at times. But they don't get like super serious about it all the time. But there are moments where like the main girl kind of like learning to be more selfish in a sense there, and being more, instead of going along with whatever, she has her own type of drives and dreams, I suppose. Her development in like her sister's eyes and her family's eyes and stuff like that. I feel like that's a little bit of substance, but I don't know. You throw in like a whole bunch of these references to like tokusatsu and stuff like that, and how they deal with things, and honestly, animation with like how they fight and everything is still well done, even though the art's like a little simpler. I feel like it's a little bit on the simpler side, a tiny bit. There are some nice like bits and interesting intricacies with like the whole tokusatsu Super Sentai type of feel. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like you probably would watch this. You'd probably just gush over it and probably turn off your brain a little bit, but it's I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's just some little bits of nice sort of behind the meanings type of thing or whatever, but it's not like every single episode. I will say it's not every single episode. That's for sure. This is definitely more of a comedy romance kind of typical format. Final episode was really nice though. How it kind of reveals like how the good guys are able to pay for all of their high-tech equipment and everything. They're being like sponsored by companies and stuff, and in order to do that, usually the team has to do like commercials or whatever, or like some sort of contracts with them to get the money. So the final one was about Fudo, the red gelato, ended up having to be part of a wedding commercial or whatever. He was shooting it with a really popular a rising female, or not rising, but a really popular young female actress who said her favorite of the Gelato 5 was Fudo. And then they were to portray as a husband and wife and at a wedding and cutting the cake for the first time. And he didn't understand why Desumi, the Shinigami princess, was against him doing it. Until he thought about himself there, and they kind of had their. I suppose this is like their first fight in a sense there, and he tried to make up to her, and then there was like the final plan for Gecko Society, where they released basically the main leader's like monster baby thing, but it wouldn't listen to him. It just ran amok and absorbed people's abilities and stuff, and just like destroyed the commercial shoot and stuff like that. It was cute. It was cute overall. I think it was really nice. And there was a couple episodes about like a school festival. So. Yeah, but no. Overall, I think this is just like a nice
7.5, maybe
7. Yeah, 7. I'd say 7. This is nice.
I don't want to talk about Virgin Road, if I'm being honest.
Okay, then let's not talk about it.
No, it's just I'm gonna put this. Virgin Road is one of those shows that I feel tries to be different for the sake of being different at times. And
okay.
it works and doesn't work.
Okay. So then
it has interesting potential, but as I put in my review, it never really pushed it. It just kind of went safe in a sense. Like, I honestly think if this show got a sequel, I feel like it could end up being pretty good.
Okay.
Like, it just didn't have enough time to really go into depth of the feelings of the two main characters, since Akari is later revealed has been actually time traveling this whole time with a goal of getting Menno to kill her. And of course, you know, the whole show builds upon the idea maybe Menno's going to find a way to keep Akari alive or whatnot, right? And it never really gets past gear 1. It starts out high, but then it kind of falters. So I gave it about a 7. Like, it's not bad. It's a good show, but it just kind of... That type of thing.
Yeah.
So up next is Aoashi.
Oh, Aoashi. Okay. You have really like a love-hate. Well, not love-hate, but like it's either what or no.
Okay, I'm gonna pause some of my topics of Aoashi because it is such a I don't know how to react to this show every week. One week we're getting okay, you're starting to turn it around, you're making it good. The next week I can't suspend my suspension of disbelief because I sit there going to myself, what the hell are you actually doing?
So for you, this is a frustrating watch.
It's frustrating, but I see the quality.
Okay, so it's still a frustrating watch though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's frustrating as hell. I'm not going to deny that, but I see the quality. The quality's there.
Okay.
So, like, I want to use this week as an example, right?
I
want to strangle someone.
Wait, is Aoashi on Disney Plus?
No, it's on Crunchy as well.
No, but it's on Disney Plus. I didn't know it was on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is. But the only reason why I mentioned Summertime Rendering's Disney Plus is because Summertime Rendering is a Disney Plus exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, Aoashi. This last episode is a perfect example of it, right? We have the satisfaction of him and those two idiots getting together and finding a way to, like, you know, work together right. That is super unbelievably satisfying. Like, I genuinely enjoyed it. I thought it was a great build-up. I can't get over the fact that a guy who doesn't know the basic fundamentals of soccer was put on the best youth team. That just frustrates me to my core. Because every anime wants to ask, can you suspend disbelief, right? Because it's anime. They're going to go insane at times, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to do that for Aoashi because I refuse to believe if you're telling me that the youth team at Espelon and Espelon themselves is one of the best teams in all of Japan for high schoolers and young adults. There's no physical reason that our main character would be on that team. None. Okay. You cannot make that argument to me because the second a coach understands he does not know the fundamentals of football, he wouldn't be picked.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much skill you have. If you don't understand how to play the game, you're not going to get selected.
Yeah.
And it hurts because, like I said, the moment when it clicks and, like, they understand what's going wrong is awesome. Right? watching them, as the reporter says, form a relationship to get the goals to turn the game around, that was epic. That was everything you want in a sports anime. But it's just, Awashi has that whole fact that I can't get over that an idiot is playing for the best team in Japan.
Okay.
Like, this isn't Haikyuu where
this is a high school.
Well, it's not the high school. This isn't Haikyuu where the whole idea is the team itself is rebuilding itself, right?
The team is already quite high and they want to keep going higher.
Well, no, it's more or less that. Remember how one of the main stories is how, the volleyball team fell apart in a sense, right? But now it's trying to get back up.
Well, and it's also a high school team.
Well, I mean, you can make the claim that she's a high school team as well too, right?
No, but they're not like a professional club.
Yeah, that is fair. Okay, yeah, no, that is fair.
They're not getting like sponsors and stuff. They're not like selling out stadiums where they themselves are the ones that are getting the money.
Okay, no, that is actually a fair point.
Yeah.
But what I was about to say is like, Karasuno isn't a volleyball champion when you get there, right?
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
Like, they're a former powerhouse. They've been there before, but they haven't been there in a while, right? And we meet Karasuno.
Did they ever even win? I don't think they ever actually won either.
I'm looking at the description. The volleyball club founded many years ago. A former powerhouse of Miyagi, Karasuno has represented the prefectural and spring nationals 9 times.
I don't think they ever won.
They were nicknamed the Fallen Champions or the Flightless Crows, right?
Uh-huh.
So what I'm saying is, we meet Karasuno when they're at their lowest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that they'd pick up a player like Hinata, who may not have the skill, right? But has the potential. So while we're also building up Hinata, we're also building up Karasuno at the same time, right?
Yeah, because they don't have any exceptional players as it is. They just
it's mostly hard work and that type of determination, right?
Yeah, but no results.
Yeah. So when the anime starts is when Karasuno is slowly rising back up.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that somebody like Hinata would be on there.
Mm-hmm.
Awashi, we meet Espelon, who is meant to be this world, like this nation class team, right?
Epsilon, yeah.
Yeah, so like I'll bring up what the Wikipedia. I want to bring up what the Wikipedia describes the team as, in a sense. So give me a second. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Tokyo Espelon. Blah, blah, blah. It's a football club based in Tokyo and one of the top J-League clubs, right? So right away, it's established that Esperion, sorry for pronouncing it wrong, is one of the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means the youth team is also going to be one of the ones you fight hard for, right?
Yeah.
Why is Awashi on there? It makes no sense from a logical standpoint, and I can't suspend my suspension of disbelief for him to be on there. It makes no sense that a coach would say, yeah, this guy who knows absolutely nothing about football, but he has skill, is going to be on there. No. If this was maybe a weaker team, I could see it, right?
Or, a team that's rebuilding really, really hard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If this was a weaker... If that's a weaker team, I could understand it. But if this was... But because this is the champion, this is one of the best, it makes no sense. Mm-hmm. So that's the frustrating part about Arashi.
Okay.
Up next for me is Science Found Love. The ending arc was great. Rest of it was mediocre. Science fell in love.
What? We're talking about Science Fell in Love now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Indie Dark was great. Everything else before that I felt was worse than season 1. Dawn of the Witch sucks, and
no hesitation.
The Bookworm was great. Just had a nice ending.
10 episodes though. A little
and
shorter
then I'll let
than
you
usual.
talk about Daemon.
It was yeah. I don't really know how to get too deep into it's nice. You know, they talk about some interesting, like, the story overall was quite interesting, how things began to slowly, opened up about Nagumo's past and about his band and about his family, and Itsuka and about her dad and stuff, and it was a very healing type of show. And at times it did, because it dealt with such a few mature subjects, like the fact, like, of the feeling of abandonment and stuff like that as a child, and like a dude, like, just who was initially just chasing his dreams and stuff, to realize that he always was like a family person and wanted to do things with his family and run the shop and stuff like that, part of the legacy. And then the whole sorry like budding father-daughter sort of pseudo relationship, in a sense, there that kind of formed. It was, just quite a healing show, throwing in bits of comedy, and it was nice. It didn't try to be like too preachy, or it didn't try to be preachy. It didn't try to be anything that's like stood out, like to stick out weirdly, in a sense. It just just comfy, had some wholesome lessons.
So is it similar
sort of like
to
give a very realistic kind of feel, in a sense there. A little bit of sweet in there. Sorry,
I'm gonna ask, is it similar to feeling in terms of Love After World Domination?
No. As much as I enjoyed, like, Love After World Domination, it was mainly a comedy, like, tied in with romance. This one, it's like, it's over the top because it's like a reference to Super Sentai and stuff, and I respect that. That's I feel how Super Sentai was and is at times. It's very, I don't want to say kiddie, but more like slapstick and action. Well, sort of fast paced at times, action and everything like that. Love it, and but it did, like, show still, like, it gave time for the romance itself to blossom within the comedy and the absurdity of Super Sentai twisted into it. But Daemon, I think, was way more slow paced and way more focusing on, how should I say, the people and its past and its sort of traditional feels, I suppose, in a sense, with, like, how it revolved around, like, wagashi and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it was way more comfy, and it still gave, like, a slight bittersweet type of ending there, in a sense there, because what was it? It's her birthday, I think, in the last episode. The Itsuka, the little girl.
Yeah, I noticed that in, like, the things I saw talking about it,
and how, like, Nagumo took her out to, like, a park and stuff, and before coming back to eat, like, dinner with everyone or celebrate her birthday and get her presents. She's still, even amidst all that, there's this moment in time where like the situation is replicated where she like is abandoned in a sense, where she loses sight of Nagumo in like a crowd, and then she starts to sort of panic a little bit in a sense, or like overthink and things like that, becomes anxious. That, yeah. But then she sees him and then rushes over and just grabs the back of his jacket or shirt or whatever, and then just like holds on, and horrible. Like she kind of just like realizes like what she's done in a sense there, that she's in that moment she's sort of like, I suppose, accepted a little bit of the fact that Nagumo, even though she denies it all the time, like before this and prior, she kind of does accept him a little bit as being a father figure, or somebody important enough to like sort of
romance. Is pushing more of like
family bonds and like a familial love type of thing, familial connection, like platonic, I suppose, in a sense, but not really platonic, because I don't know, I don't really consider family love to be platonic, but you know, I don't know. No, wait, no, yeah, no. Platonic is basically.
I get your point. Alrighty, shall we?
Because you don't even consider it's family. Yeah, so it's comfy.
Alrighty, shall we move on to the preview for the summer? Because that's it for me for spring.
Yeah. Okay, let me just take a look real quick. Oh yeah, I gotta get back to Kingdom for the season. Christ.
Like I've already established.
Oh, Kyokai Senki. No.
Yeah, no.
Like a 2 out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about what we want to watch during the summer.
Okay, then give me 1 second to end this episode and get back to.
But should we? This summer episode may be like 10-15 minutes.
I don't care if it's 10-15 minutes. We'll do it.
Okay.
This EHRPG saying bye because we did stuff with spring and now our noses are very runny. Bye.